Okay, we just had some internet instability, so hopefully I can just finish up this video. We only have a few minutes left. So as I was saying, India has sort of changed in a lot of ways because it's modern. I was just talking about music. So in music, they have these ideas called ragas. They have these things called ragas. A raga is sort of a rhythm. So for a certain emotion, you'll have a certain rhythm that you would have. But those rhythms would be also connected to the time of day or the location. These days, you can just pop in a cassette and it'll play whatever raga you want. You used to only be able to hear certain temple sounds, such as the sound of God waking up in the morning, called the Suprabhatam. The Tirupati Suprabhatam is this beautiful poem that was only sung in one temple, but then and people would come from all over India to hear that temple. And it was the temple priests would be chanting it to wake God up in the morning. And it's like, oh, hello, good morning, God. I hope you slept so well. Oh, let's get you bathed. Let's have some food. Let's put you in the finest clothes. It sounds lame in English, but it sounds really beautiful in Sanskrit. But these days, when you turn on the radio in the morning in India, that very hymn is the hymn that every Hindu radio station plays in the morning, the song for waking up to God. We have temples that are in the United States now. The temples don't even need to be in India. You don't have to have a guru to learn philosophy. You can read it in books. But yet, on the other hand, in spite of all these technological changes, Indians are still very religious. Ramanujan notes about a thing called the Ayudha Puja, where people originally would, during the harvest time, they would worship their weapons and they would also worship their harvest implements. These days, they do the same worship, but they worship also their telephones and their computers and their typewriters. I have a friend who's doing research on the Hindu lives and Hindu religions of engineers in Bangalore, which is the Indian sort of Silicon Valley. All right, so one thing I wanted to leave you with here is I don't want you to enshrine this content, this context specificness into the universal. What I want when I call for context specificity and sensitivity is to just be aware of as much as possible. So don't think a universal claim like all Christians believe in angels. Well, what kind of angels? How do they believe in angels? Which Christians? What types of angels? I don't want you to hold solid to those universal claims because, you know, someone's going to come by and show you the exact opposite. And like, you know, one of the things is that everybody says that Hindus believe in reincarnation. Well, the reality of it is when you talk to the majority of Hindus at a funeral or when they die, they'll say, oh, I want to go to heaven. Heaven is what they're shooting for. Or they'll talk about karma. They'll say, oh, well, karma is what everybody, or is the sum total of all causation of all your lives up to this one. But then also Indians will also, they'll do this thing where they'll tap themselves on the head and you'll say, hey, is this going to happen? Like that, and that's talavidi. What is written on my forehead? The idea is on the 6th day after you're born, a goddess comes by and writes your entire fate on your forehead. Well, what does that have to do with karma? That's like predestination. And then you'd be surprised because there's plenty of Indians that don't think about karma at all. So it's all over the place. I do think that this context sensitivity does give us the greatest understanding of any situation and calls us to try to see more than just what people do, but why they do it, how they do it, and how there are so many influences to cause people to do what they do. Finally, there's just a ton of religions and a ton of books out there, and they're not the same. They have similar things. I mean, one could argue that religion is a capacity for human beings to make meaning in the world, but the meanings are so different, so how could they all be the same? So let's just be left with a greater sense of context and diversity. So thanks for putting up with me on this one. It's been a rocky day recording videos. I hope you all have better luck with your technology than I'm having today. Thank you.